Hello everybody and welcome to the second Let's Chat. I've kind of decided that I'm going to try and make these, I'm going to call them videos even though, mostly they technically aren't, it's mostly just me talking for a little while, but I'm going to try and make these videos be a weekly occurrence. So if you didn't catch the first one, I'm trying to do these things in replacement of, an hour and a half long podcast every couple of weeks. I thought maybe a up to 20 minute video every week might be better. It also lets me keep more up to date with things that I want to chat about. Assuming there is things to chat about, and I will once again also encourage you, if you have anything you want me to chat about, if you have a question to ask, kind of like what I did for my 1500th video, you can just leave a comment and I'll either get to you there or I'll bring it up in the next time I record one of these. So I am recording this on, as I turn my head to look at the calendar, Saturday the 7th. My sister was visiting and we had takeaway pizza, so she's gone now. And I decided to sit down and record this because I've been thinking about what else to talk about in one of these, and I actually started getting quite a long list. I thought, well, you know what, so that these don't go on too long, I should probably quickly film one before, I think of anything else that I want to talk about. So, as I clear my throat and taste the pizza I just ate, do you want to know what kind of pizza I had? You probably don't, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I had cheese, Cumberland sausage, ground beef, and garlic butter. And it was very nice. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Anyway, the first thing I wanted to bring up is my end graphic. Do you know the thing I mean? I don't know if you've ever watched one of my videos to the end. There's a picture up with press this button to subscribe, press this button to see a previous playthrough, press this button to see a previous playthrough and whatnot. It's very amateurish looking, that's because I made it and I don't know anything about graphic design. I used a free program called GIMP. Well, actually it's GIMP in capital letters, so maybe I should say it's GIMP! I don't know. Anytime I see a word in capital letters, I feel the need to shout it rather than say it. The point I'm making is it doesn't look professional and it bugs me to no end that, I flung it together in a free to use graphic program. And also, the thing that's now no longer relevant is that it obviously has that bit saying, this is where the latest podcast is, in which I've never updated for a long time now because also it's a hassle having lots of annotations on the one thing. So, I've probably put what it looks like in the background, by the way, if you never have saw it at the end of one of my, whatever, at the end of one of my videos, so you can have a look now, or, prior to now probably, and that's what it looks like. It's not very good. I do not like it at all. So, the reason I'm bringing it up is because if any of you have at all, gotten into graphic design, and you would be willing to whip something up, something simple but professional looking is what I'm looking for. Something that I put at the end of my videos that don't need more than, say, even just one annotation for where the subscribe button would be. I don't need to advertise previous playthroughs and whatnot. I just do that because it was kind of an in thing a few months back that, do this because it makes a massive difference, and then YouTube kind of said, no, it doesn't really. Nobody really presses on annotations or, linked videos. What do they used to call that again? I can't remember now. Either way, you see, no one ever used it, so, not annotations, that's what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter, I'm totally blanking on what they called. Response videos, that's what it was. Yes, I knew I'd remember if I struggled with it long enough. So yeah, if you do at all have any kind of graphical know-how and can whip together a professional looking thing, feel free. And if you do it, I can only really offer you a shout out in one of these Let's Chat videos. I could also mention you in the descriptions of videos, although nobody really reads those. The best I could do, I have a couple of leftover Steam games in my Steam library. I think I've got like a copy of Civ 5 and Half-Life 2. I could offer you one of those if you wanted. And if more than one person does, give me something, and I don't think that'll happen, but on the off chance I have to say this, please don't feel let down if I go with someone else's. It's just down to personal taste. And everyone's taste is different. So I'm just throwing that out there as the first kind of talking point. Feel free to ignore it if you are, not into that kind of thing, or if you don't feel the need. Because, I can make do with the bad one for a while longer, I think. It just bugs me every time I see it now, because I think to myself, why did you think that was okay to use at the time? Look at it. Just look at it and, Anyway, on a better note, for the 2 out of 3 talking points I had, was that I made a new Steam group, specifically for my YouTube channel. Now, this is because I am trying to, create my brand rather than the Brinko Hearty brand, because unless you read a Sonic-based sprite comic that myself and a friend made in the late 90s, you will have no idea what Brinko Hearty is or what it means, and indeed, it doesn't really mean anything these days, so it was confusing, so that's why I'm trying to steer away from that now. To that end, I have made a Flik's Gaming Stuff Steam group, and you will probably see a picture of it or the link to it now. Did I do that, future me? Did I? Did I show the picture right where I said I would? I hope I did. Yeah, so I've made that. I've invited pretty much everyone who was already in the previous Brain Go Hearty group, and if you want to join it and invite your friends, feel free. And you might want to because of what's coming up next. Now, as I've moaned about in videos and, in podcasts and in the first Let's Chat and everywhere, I can't do live streaming because, well, Twitch changed it so you couldn't do any worse than 720. And I can't handle any better than 480, so that kind of killed it dead, even if I did want to live stream in low quality. And I'm such a perfectionist, I don't like live streaming in low quality anyway. So my point is, how can I interact with people if I can't, start a live streaming thing on Twitch and whatnot yet? I mean, by the end of 2017, or at some point before 2017, I am apparently going to get an upgrade. But yeah, that's quite a ways away. So I was thinking, if you are in a group on Steam, there is the group chat feature. Now, no one really uses it because there's not much point, because people these days use Skype and whatnot, but I can't go giving my Skype out to everybody because I use it for both friends, family, and also business, actually, now that I think about it. So I can't just, throw it out there for people. And the same kind of with my Steam as well, because it'll fill up eventually. So I thought what I could do is arrange a night where I could just, be in the Steam group, the Flik's Gaming Stuff Steam group's chat, and just have a little chat with anyone who wants to turn up and do it live, as it were, rather than this kind of post commenting on a video I've done. And if anyone who does turn up wants to play a game, I mean, you can still use the chat using the Steam overlay while you're playing stuff. I mean, I won't necessarily play anything at the time, although I might start trying to get back into TF2 for the first time in about half a year. But I thought that might be a good idea as a way to get people to interact with each other, and also if you want to interact with me directly, rather than me responding to comments, as I was just saying. So I was thinking of when to do it. I think weekend would be best. I don't think Friday night, because a lot of people go out Friday night. So I was thinking of 7 PM on Saturday let me check my calendar again, the 14th. So that's next Saturday. I mean, or the Saturday that comes soonest after whenever I decide to post this damn thing. And 7 PM would be GMT, that is, the time in the UK. So that would be 8 PM for you guys in other parts of Europe, probably. As for, America, Australia, Canada, everywhere else, I've got no idea what that converts into, I'm sorry. I think 6 PM for the UK currently is like 9 AM in the morning for certain parts of America, wherever Polaris is located. So, yeah, I totally understand if it's too early for some of you. I don't know how long I'll go on for. I mean, even if I end up playing something else, I'll probably still hang out in the chat for a little while. So I'm just doing this as an experiment. So to recap the kind of rambling I've been doing here for the last 5 minutes, the Flik's Gaming Stuff Steam group, it's linked on my channel page. It'll be linked, in fact it's linked in every single video I do if you just press the show more info in the description box. Feel free to join, feel free to invite your friends also, and on Saturday the 14th at 7 PM UK time, I will be in the group chat. Feel free to show up. I don't know who else will be there. People from my videos may turn up, they may not, I don't care. And if you want to get games started with people in there, feel free as well. And we'll see what happens with that. So I had one last thing to talk about in this Let's Chat, for now anyway. It's something that I've noticed. I went looking for a playthrough of a game I have no intention of buying because it's on a console I have no intention of buying. So that's probably going to immediately kind of suggest to you what it was, but I'm not going to name names other than stating that they're not with my network, and they have significantly more subscribers than me. In fact, they have over 1 million. But the point I want to bring up is, I was looking for a playthrough of a game because, as I was saying, I have no intention of getting the console the game is on, so I wanted to see if the game is any good. So I found one. I think it's the top rank, if not the top rank, then it's in the top 5 for the search rankings of that game. And I started watching this person play through. I wouldn't say their personality is my taste, but they weren't overbearing per se, so they didn't bug me in that regard. It was a playthrough I could watch. Now, what I noticed was the playthrough was doing massively popular. I mean, he was surprised. The person making them, he was surprised by how popular the series was. That's good for him. He struck gold with that particular playthrough, because I guess not a lot of people are buying that console. So, what I noticed was the parts of the playthrough of the Let's Play he was doing, they started at about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I don't know. And then they were steadily getting shorter until they were uploading 15-minute parts and 11-minute parts. And there can be no other reason for this than because the playthrough is doing exceptionally well, lots of people are going to watch every part regardless of their length, so they will earn more ad money if they split it into lots of tiny bits. And I looked at that and I couldn't believe how utterly greedy the person was being. It was pathetic. And the annoying thing was, I was looking at the comments because I was kind of hoping that someone would call them out on their bullshit, and no one did. No one seemed to notice and or care. And I don't know if it's just that people don't have as, scrupulous morals as I do, but I could never do something like that. I aim for between 15 and half an hour videos. Now, if my connection was not a problem, I would have absolutely no problem with doing, up to an hour long videos. Like I was saying in that 45-minute Monster Hunter video that took me almost 24 hours to upload. So that's the reason I aim for, like, the sweet spot for me is between 20 and 25 if you want to get, like, really particular timing. Because I think that's the same length of an episode of a sitcom, say. So that's why I think it's an acceptable length to have an ad on it. And if it's a silly video, I suppose it's, like a 30 seconds long. I mean, it's a silly video, so that's different. It's the fact that this was a playthrough. It was a playthrough of a game that the guy knew was doing exceptionally well, so he was milking it for every penny he could, and it disgusted me. So I actively started just, closing the ads for a start, just kind of clipping through the video to look for story bits of the game I wanted to see, and making sure that my view wouldn't be registered because of what he was doing. So it just annoyed me, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. I couldn't believe, I noticed it very early on that that's what was happening, but the thing that confounded it was one part ended with, like, he had accidentally missed a bit of editing, so he got to a bit and then without missing a breath he started the intro that then was the intro in the next part. So it just shows he was just throwing them in randomly. It wasn't that he had to stop and go do something else. He was just constantly playing on. And by the way, it's totally acceptable, to sit and record more than one video in one sitting and then break it up. Like, for example, I could, although I haven't yet, do, like, say, a recording of an hour's worth of State of Decay and break that into 2 half-an-hour parts. I would consider that acceptable. What I wouldn't find acceptable is, without missing a beat, recording an hour of State of Decay and then splitting it into 10-minute videos. I would not, like say they were getting ridiculous numbers of views, so I thought, I'll just make really tiny parts, so then I get lots of ad money. Greed is easy to give into. It's very, very easy to give into. So I try to be very careful when, if I get offered any kind of sponsored deals. For example, the Monster Hunter deal was sponsored by Capcom. However, they obviously did not ask for an opinion or wanted an opinion to be given, so that's why I found it acceptable. I was simply to show someone how to play the game, and I was okay with that, especially since the game is entirely lacking in any kind of coherent tutorial. So I consider that acceptable. Also, when I was given the Plantronics rigs to review, sorry, I got a text message, or is that a Twitter message? Let me lean over. Someone is following me on Twitter, thank you very much. And if anyone else wants to follow me on Twitter, as I do my own little bit of hurrying in a kind of ironic sense, that's also down below. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, when I got the Plantronics rigs headset, I was given those for free, but I wasn't told to give them a good review. I was told to give them a review, and I hope, or I like to think, that I was entirely fair and listed positives and negatives in the review I did of it. Indeed, when I wrote for Critical Gamer, I always made sure that outside influences never affected how I scored a game that I was reviewing, nor would I ever. So I would definitely always stay clear of any kind of deal I was offered where I was expected to give a particular opinion. And that doesn't directly correlate to someone, who's breaking up a successful playthrough deliberately to get more ad money. I think it's just another example of why greed is a bad thing, and it's a dangerous thing, and it's a tempting thing. And it's a sin for a reason, people. Maybe people are okay with it, because as I said, none of his followers, they were more concerned about moaning about the way he was playing, rather than the fact he was clearly doing something, to make more money out of it. Yeah, so I didn't mean to end on a negative. I should have done these things in a different order. So, I'll just quickly recap. Anyone interested in doing me a new end graphic, you will see it at the end of all my videos. Get yourself a bit out there if you do graphical design for a living. There is a new Steam group for Flik's gaming stuff. Feel free to join it if you want. I can't guarantee I'll do any contests or anything, but should the opportunity ever arrive that I get given, indie dev keys, I will try and do giveaways via the Steam group to encourage membership. And by the way, it's free. I made it sound like it was a pay-for service there or something. No, Steam is free. Steam groups are free. I'm not trying to extort anything from you other than, you know, being somewhere I can chat to you every so often. And on that note, Saturday the 14th at, when did I say? 7 PM I think I said. Oh god, I think I've forgotten. I'm pretty sure I said 7 PM. Go by the time I said at the start of the video, not now. I'll listen back and, you know, bring it up on the screen again if I did say the wrong thing there. And I guess the final message to end on is that greed is bad. And I was deeply disheartened when I saw such a flagrant, such a stupid example of someone getting away with it. Anyway, thank you for watching this or listening to this second Let's Chat. I hope you still enjoy these little bite-sized vlog-esque videos I'm doing. I'm going to try and make them once a week, and I think, now this isn't set in stone, I'm just considering, I rarely am able to do any recording on Mondays, so I often sit around rendering on Mondays, so I may start posting these on Monday afternoons. That's my vague plan at present, or Monday night anyway. I'm throwing that roughly out as a time I'm going to do these each week. So anyway, once again, thank you very much if you stuck to the end. We actually went over my kind of aiming for 15 minutes for this. Ta-ta for now.